You're watching Trade of the Week. I'm Zinati Gama, and up for technical analysis this week, Silver, Pan-African Silver Corporation and the Global X-Silver Miners ETF. And joining us with her analysis is Moxima Gama, Senior Technical Analyst at the Money Hub. Thank you so much for your time and joining us in studio, Moxima. I've actually been wondering when someone would start talking about silver because it's been gold. And actually off air, I was telling you that the last time I spoke about silver, I think was in 2021. I remember the gold rush during COVID as well. And then silver also started to participate. But then that actually quickly fizzled. And I'm wondering why now there is so much activity. I think I saw about a month ago that the silver price had surged to an over 13-year high.
True. So 2020, 2021, it was still doing a bit of a formation. Have you heard of the silver-gold ratio?
No.
It's been used in centuries. What they do is it's pretty much gold price over the silver price.
Okay.
And I'll show you now. Just get into the chart. I'll show you now. Yes. But the gold-silver ratio is used a lot. So silver and gold tend to track each other.
So fundamentals are similar?
Yes. Okay. So if gold outperforms, silver tends to follow.
Yes.
And as you know now, gold is starting to mellow. Well, do some topside formation, which I'm not too sure. Well, it was expected on my side.
Yes.
I kind of figured that there was going to be that once it hit the 3,500 level.
Yeah.
So there's just that topside consolidation. And now because of that, we're seeing silver catch up with that. And the gold silver ratio is for the first time, it started in last year.
Yes.
Was it last year, September? I will see on the chart now.
Yes.
And it's after a long time, it's actually now above 80. So if it's between 80 and 90, it means that silver is likely to then start following through with gold. You should check it out. It's quite an interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, silver is not something that people really trade, but I do see it being silver and platinum are becoming the alternative to gold because gold is so expensive. And if you look at silver is around $30, not as
not like 3,000
and not
500
something as platinum. But and it does as we were speaking. I think they use it for solar paneling. Since we all kind of going off grid, maybe the demand for that, but also in a trading form, it seems to be taking some kind of upside momentum that is quite interesting.
Okay, well, yeah, that is actually an interesting thing that you make in terms of the uses and the functions of silver, because, I mean, right now, because gold, we've been talking about it being a safe haven asset and not necessarily its functions and uses. So it's quite interesting that silver, it seems that the demand might even rise because of solar panels and stuff like that.
Right.
Looking at
we're all trying to be sustainable, right?
Exactly.
Maybe that's the way it's all headed to. Excuse me.
Okay, so what's that chart looking like?
So let's start with the silver charts. Now, you were saying around 2020, 2021, it becomes quite obvious as to why it didn't do much of a surge, because it seemingly was forming a pattern known as a symmetrical triangle. Okay. So in that case, it's very non-directional when it's in that formation, and you find yourself, I hate being in a trade that's forming a symmetrical triangle, because you kind of have to wait for a breakout in either direction. And in this case, and just to mention, the longer that pattern forms, the bigger the breakout becomes, right? Which is very similar to, if you look at the platinum chart, it also has that huge symmetrical triangle. Also started probably 2019 to about now, and it's broken out. It makes sense, right? It's been consolidating for a very extended time. So we saw that symmetrical triangle, and slap bang in April 2024 is when it broke out positively. And if you look at gold also broke out positively then. And if you calculate that whole gold-silver ratio, that's when it then peaked up to about 90 or 80, I'm not too sure, but it was around that 80-90 band. So if it remains at 80-90, it means you must stay long of silver, in other words. So that has now resulted in the upside we're seeing. In fact, the positive breakout was confirmed at $26.80 and 08 rather. And we're seeing this upside come through. Also, at this current moment, if we're looking at it now, it's coming off its overbought position, which is fine. I like it when something comes off its overbought position, because then it gives room for it to go up again.
Okay.
But it also then puts it in this precarious position where will it just come off that overbought position or will it pull back quite substantially? Now, the important thing is, particularly for the RSI, is to bounce on that bull trend it has formed in order for silver to then remain or retain its support at $35.40. If that should happen for the next couple of weeks, and it remains above 35.40, then we're likely to see it breach that 37.50, let's just round it off, level. And that itself could then create that natural progression. I mean, with it being overbought and coming off enough, but upside towards $46.70 if we have to round that off. That's about a 25% move towards that level. Now, the key points you need to understand, it's broken out of a really extended symmetrical triangle.
Yes.
So the anticipation is for upside. And if it remains with that gold-silver ratio above between 80 and 90, we're likely to see silver catch up to gold. All right. And not necessarily outperform, maybe even outperform because of that topping out thing that gold is doing. So silver has now become the best alternative and to gold, as well as that I mentioned. Because remember, I spoke about platinum shares then, which are doing exceptionally well, might I just add.
Okay.
So that is what is anticipated from the symmetrical triangle breakout. All right. Now, where is it going to go from the symmetrical triangle breakout? How you measure that is from the base of the triangle upwards. And when you measure that, that says silver's likely to fulfill that objective. Silver's likely to go to $45, which is not too far from where its all-time high is. So everything is kind of pointing towards the direction of silver going upwards. Unless, of course, I'm going to mention the alternative scenario, is if in the next few, if the RSI, for example, breaks out of that upward trend, we're probably going to see a correction, and it may just trade through $35.40. But it has to bounce on this trend line in order for it to retain this uptrend. So if it's at 35.40, okay, just leave it at there. It needs to at least correct even more. The only part that would give me a caution sign is if it starts trading below 31.65. Then I will know that something's a bit wonky, particularly trading below 30 would mean it's now abandoned this bull trend and silver may no longer shine anymore. And I think that ratio will then probably reduce to about below 80, depending on where the gold price is. So I leave you with the fact that it's broken out a symmetrical triangle. We anticipate upside to at least its all-time high, gradual upside. Please, I don't want to be quoted that she said it's going there tomorrow.
I mean, listen, we even saw the fact that it broke out of that triangle in 2024, and it's been, what, over a year now?
I mean, this started around 2020, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole 4 year.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's legit. Like, it's not a small little 3-day, you know?
Yeah.
So that's silver. My call on silver has, because of that breakout, has become bullish. Now I then figured which are the shares that one can invest in. We don't necessarily have a company that mines silver in South Africa, though Harmony does do a bit of silver mining, but not to the extent. It's more, it will err more on the side of gold. So we obviously have to look at international markets. And I was looking at shares that you can trade, you can invest in South Africa, like Pan American Silver, as well as Global X. I think in most, just ask your broker, most of them Easy Equity trades that. Many of them trade that, but you just have to have a dollar account in order, because they all priced in dollars. Now,
do we see significant institutional investor appetite for silver, whether it's ETFs or
I mean, if we look at the charts now, you'll start seeing that they're definitely nibbling in. You know, they're getting in there. As I always mention, the clever money is starting to come in. So let's go to Pan American Silver. And it's been in a bear trend also since 2020, 2021. It's all coordinating, you know what I'm saying? So as that silver was trading sideways, that share price was falling. And then slap bang in April 2024, it then starts rising alongside with the silver price. And it's in this nice bull channel, as you may see, but it's also that, including the RSI being in a symmetrical triangle. At this point in time, which I got excited about because it was happening, that a breakout in either direction of the RSI symmetrical triangle can happen. Now, at this point, for Pan American Silver to continue with its upward trend, it would have to breach that upward the upward slope there.
Okay.
Which is the reason why I say if you really want to go long, I would rather suggest you get in once it breaches the $30.60 mark. Then, because once the upper slope is breached, the trend becomes steeper. Then we could see that upward momentum to about $44.10, right? And that's a nice 44% gain.
Okay.
This is nice for like your little retirement annuity fund that you're putting on the side or whatever you're saving for.
Yes.
But that is, once it breaches that, and in fact, once it trades above 30.60, so that is the level that you have to have in your mind. Now, if the RSI breaks downwards, for example, or because you can see it always kind of reverses every time it tests there, then it means don't get in. You only get in once it trades above $30.60.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's likely to correct. If it trades below 26, then it may fall to 22.05. That is where, if it does fall, that's at buying level. But if it trades through there, like in other words, you're buying it cheaper than the $30. But if it does trade through that upper slope, that lower slope, then it marks the end of this upside, and we may not see it then go there. So if it doesn't trade above 30.60, hold your horses. Let it pull back, and if it happens to pull back and then it bounces back at any level above 22.05, makes a good buying opportunity still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually with the gold miners, with any kind of movement in the gold price, it multiplies with the miners.
Yeah.
Do we see the same kind of pattern?
So it would. I'm thinking, or I'm guessing, you meaning multiply in terms of the rand.
Yes.
It does happen with silver.
Okay.
So if the rand strengthens and silver falls, you should not be in silver.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
If silver continues going up despite the rand strength, it's still fine to be in silver. If the rand strengthens and silver goes up, it's a double bonus.
Okay.
And we're seeing a bit of weakness. We're having that little 1st of August thing.
Yeah.
Rand is starting to weaken. So this is giving us both bonuses if that happens. But just know if they're both falling, then you shouldn't be in any of this year.
All right.
So that would be waiting for the 30.60 or waiting for the pullback and then get in at any level above 22.
Okay.
Or 5. And then reloading quite a lot at 30.60 because then
then
a new bull phase will start, a steeper one.
Okay.
Now, Global X is actually a US financial institution that makes all these
the ETFs.
ETFs.
Okay, yeah.
Anyone can drop me one, it's fine. ETFs.
Yeah.
And they have had this silver miners, and they also have Pan American Silver.
Oh, in there.
13%.
All right.
They have about 5 shares. A Mexican and a few of the silver mines. So if you're not wanting to get into that and you want to be more conservative, then maybe this will work out for you.
Okay.
Also broken out of bear trend, but did not, although it might have started this uptrend around April as well, but it's broken out of the bear trend in October. It was a bit of a delayed effect there.
Okay.
And it's freshly broken out. We just saw it consolidate between these two levels, $42.31. But now that it's broken that, and it literally broke that, broke out of that consolidation in May, now we're seeing this upside momentum. And if it trades above $49.80, then get in. It's an opportune time to buy.
Okay.
And this, with its RSI remaining bullish, we could then see that upside, I would say, to about $77 long term, right?
Would you say that maybe because the ETF has been a laggard, that maybe there's more room for that to run?
There is more room because it will obviously mimic what the others do, and because it's an ETF, if one company does a bit weirdly, then it's not like you're getting into one. You've kind of invested in a basket of silver shares, so it's the safest option because then ETFs are the more conservative investment. You can have both. You can beef up there and get there, and get some silver, but as I say, it's more of a you get all the silver miners in this Global X ETF. So that is the upside I see.
Okay.
Breaking out of a bear trend also, which started in 2020. So it's a 4-year bear trend. it's momentous for some. You know, when I see breakouts of a bear trend, I get very
Yes.
excited.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm happy with this one. Also, just ask your broker. I know Easy Equity, and
Yes.
you can
Okay.
get these, and that's about a 55% move long
Ooh.
term. Not bad, and it could still go further. That's if silver. You have to also, when you invest it, watch silver alongside,
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
and the rand. You know, not so much the rand, but just both of
Yes.
those together because they're positively correlated.
All right.
Alternatively, is that if it had to fall below 72.95, don't invest. It's going to correct to the lower slope, and if it actually trades through 31.35, unfortunately, would mean it's resumed its bear trend.
Okay.
In any case, you wouldn't have invested.
Yeah.
So it means, okay, we have to just put this on ice and just look at
Just
something
wait,
else.
yeah.
But I'm quite excited about the silver. And it looks, because the RSI is not even overbought. I mean, a breakout out of $49.80.
Yeah.
Just, it's you can see it's been,
Yes.
you know, it's been a ceiling there. And if it breaks out, I do feel we'll have quite a spike upwards.
Ah, all right.
If
Well,
silver does the same. So this would be kind of like the summary
yes,
of,
okay.
yeah.
okay. The silver bullet
Yeah.
in our portfolio.
Patented silver
Yeah.
bullet. That's what we. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my outlook on silver.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This is quite refreshing because not a lot of people are speaking about silver. It's just been gold, gold, gold. So it's really nice to just get an alternative. And I mean, even though the platinum shares, a lot of people talk about that, but silver is actually quite a new one on the show. But thank you so much for your time and for your technical analysis on that, Moxima. That was the Money Hub's Moxima Gama. And that's all for this week's segment, but stay tuned for lots more coming up right here on Business Day TV.